The sun rises over a fractured world. What was once a lush forest now cracks beneath drought and wind. The rains no longer come as they once did. Trees die standing, their branches skeletal against a blood-red dawn. Amid this dying land, a band of Sahelanthropus tchadensis clings to survival, creatures caught between ape and ancestor, between instinct and the first sparks of human will. They move in silence. Dust swirls around their fur as they climb down from the last living trees. Their eyes shift constantly, from the shadows of predators to the distant shimmer of a drying river. Hunger gnaws at them. Thirst shapes their every decision. The struggle begins. A mother, her infant clinging to her chest, scrapes the bark of a dying tree. Beneath the surface, grubs, protein. She crushes one between her teeth, then feeds her child. Around her, the others search desperately. One male cracks a nut with a stone, the sound echoing like a heartbeat across the empty plain. Another digs for roots, his hands trembling from weakness. Suddenly, a rustle. Every head jerks upward. From the tall grass, a shape emerges, a small antelope, stumbling, dying of thirst. The troop hesitates. Hunger battles fear. The leader, scarred and lean, moves first. He grabs a jagged stone and creeps closer. The others follow, circling, their bodies low, their breaths shallow. The antelope collapses. In a burst of instinct, they leap. The leader brings the stone down on the creature's skull, once, twice, again. It stops moving. Blood pools into the cracked soil. The scent draws vultures overhead. The troop eats in silence, tearing with shaking hands, their eyes never leaving the horizon. Survival has never been so raw, so uncertain. First twist. The predator's shadow. The wind shifts. A low growl rolls through the grass. A sabertooth cat, massive and silent, watches from the ridge, drawn by blood. The leader's head snaps up. He lets out a sharp bark, a warning. The troop scatters. Mothers grab infants and sprint for the trees, but the plains are vast and bare. The predator charges. One young male trips. The sabertooth pounces, claws tearing into his back. The leader turns, stone still in hand. He screams, a sound both defiant and terrified, and slams the weapon against the cat's nose. The beast recoils, snarling. Another throws a branch, hitting its flank. Together they create chaos, screams, stones, motion. The sabertooth hesitates, confused by the resistance. Then, rain begins to fall. Brief, sharp, blinding. Mud splashes into eyes. In the confusion, the troop retreats into the tangled remains of the forest. The predator loses sight and vanishes into the storm. They gather beneath the dripping canopy, trembling, clutching one another. The young male lies still, his breath fading. The mother who nursed him, tears leaves, pressing them into his wounds. The leader watches, chest heaving, eyes reflecting both pain and something new. Understanding. The world is changing, and they must change too. Between fire and drought weeks pass. The rains stop again. The land splits open in heat. Rivers turn to dust trails marked by bones. Food grows scarce. The troop wanders farther than ever before. Out of the forest, across cracked plains, through shimmering heat. One morning they find something strange. Smoke. The scent of burning. Fire. A storm miles away has set the grass ablaze. The flames roll like beasts across the horizon. Fear seizes them. They run. Fast. Desperate. Embers rain down. One mother stumbles, her infant sliding into the ash. The leader, instead of fleeing, turns back. He wraps his hands in leaves and scoops the child from the smoke, pressing it close. The fire drives them onward, toward the unknown. When at last it ends, they find themselves in new land. Open savanna, scattered trees, and a river still holding water. Second twist. Rival troop. But they are not alone. Across the river, another troop watches, stronger, larger, with different faces. They hiss and bare their teeth. The leader's group is weak, wounded, hungry. A fight could mean death. The rival leader crosses the river slowly, testing them. Stones are lifted, postures tighten. Then, unexpectedly, the female with the rescued infant steps forward. She drops a broken fruit before the rival, offering, not threat. The rival leader sniffs, then eats. Tension eases. The two groups share space for the night, drinking, resting, wary but peaceful. But peace is brief. By morning, the rivals are gone, leaving only footprints and the remains of fruit. They have taken the best shelter by the river. The troop must move again. Survival is no longer just about food, it's about strategy. Climactic struggle. The long drought days stretch into torment. The youngest die first, quietly in the night. Mothers carry their bodies until strength gives out. The leader pushes onward, guiding the survivors toward distant thunderheads. Finally, they reach the edge of a canyon where underground springs still flow. Life bursts from the earth. Green shoots, frogs, insects, salvation. But the joy is shattered by movement in the shadows. A crocodile lunges from the shallows, jaws wide. One female screams, yanking her child back just in time. The leader, bleeding from the chase, grabs a heavy stone and smashes at the beast's snout. Others join, raining blows until the creature retreats into murk. When it's over, they collapse in the mud, shaking. The leader's wounds are deep, but the water is theirs. They drink, bathe, and rest. For the first time in weeks, they survive without running. Resolution. The birth of adaptation. The landscape around them is new, unforgiving, but rich. They begin to explore, using stones to crack shells, sticks to dig, leaves to carry water. When one is injured, another tends to the wound. When food is found, it is shared. The leader, now scarred and slow, watches the young mimic his movements, picking up tools, testing their strength. Something ancient shifts within their kind. They are learning. When the rains return at last, the troop gathers near the water's edge. Infants play in the mud. Mothers groom their young. The air hums with insects and life. The camera would rise above this fragile scene, a symbol of rebirth after suffering. In the golden light of sunset, the troop stands, upright, cautious, but enduring. Behind them lies fire, drought, and death. Ahead lies adaptation, evolution, and the first whispers of what will one day be humanity. And as the wind sighs through the grass, it carries the same message that echoes through time. To survive is to change, and to change is to become human.